In the headlines, long fuel queues resurface in Abuja as regulatory agency confirms adulterated fuel. And Zamfara court remands Abdul Shakur Tukur and 4 others for possession of human parts. Herdsmen invade Agatu in Benue State, destroy property and farmlands. And on the foreign scene, at least 14 people dead in Colombian landslide following heavy rain. Hello and a warm welcome to Trust News Update. My name is Chijoke Okafo. And now the news in detail. Vehicle owners in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, are bemoaning shortage of fuel as long queues resurfaced in parts of the city, causing commercial motorists to hike fare. This development gives black market sellers opportunity to sell at exorbitant prices, leaving some commuters stranded or forced to trek to their respective destinations. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu monitors the situation and reports that amid other possible causes, adulteration of fuel is responsible for the scarcity, according to preliminary investigations.
The situation in many fueling stations in the Federal Capital Territory at the moment is indeed appalling, as so many vehicle owners have to wait at long queues in these stations to access the premium motor spirit. And of course, we have those of the passengers who are waiting to access vehicles where there is price hike in the cost of transportation. And of course, some persons are stranded. They are unable to get access to vehicles. While the cause of the fuel scarcity is unknown to stranded commuters and vehicle owners, they continue to condemn the situation, calling on relevant authorities to find a lasting solution.
Apart from the traffic thing, I've been to several filling stations. I don't know what's happening. Nobody's talking to anyone. The queue is everywhere. This is like the 8th filling station I've been to this morning. So it's more or less like the whole of my day is gone on queue. So I don't know what is happening. The government should do something about this. And I think we are entitled to information. If there is anything happening, let us know. Let's be prepared ahead. Black markets everywhere. Today, this morning, a black market was telling me for 10 liters, 3,500. Then I look at it, if I'm to fill my tank with 50 liters, how much would that be? So if increase in fuel price rate is what they want to talk about, they should let us know. If the subsidy thing, we should know.
This is usually where I come to get fuel in the mornings, in the evenings, but for the last 1 week or so, it's been like this. About 2-3 days ago, I was actually stuck inside from around 7, and I left here around maybe 11 at night.
The shortage of fuel at fueling stations has become an avenue for the black market sellers to hike fuel prices, leaving a negative effect on cost of transportation.
It's not funny. We are not finding it easy. Just like other people who are going to work out there are not finding it easy to get vehicle to their destination. By the time you want to buy fuel, it will take you a very long time, maybe like 2, 3 to 4 hours before you get fuel. Then by the time you want to go out to go and do your business, continue your business, nobody will like to pay extra money. And that time that we waste, and even when you want to buy full tank for filling station, they will be telling you there's no full tank, that they have to give you half a tank. So, and it's affecting us. When you buy today, tomorrow again, you will still go back there to go and queue because they are not giving us full tank. So that is why we increase our own price for customer then.
From Mujabi here to Gbagba, 800 naira. Una waiting time people they collect for our hand. To them to buy fuel now, see in a filling station everywhere they lock. You understand?
Although preliminary investigation reveals that the cause of scarcity in some parts of the country is as a result of adulterated fuel in circulation. According to the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, the directive to withdraw the product from the market after distribution to many fueling stations across the country created a supply shortfall, thereby leading to panic buying. The fear of fuel subsidy withdrawal in the minds of both private depot owners and some retailers, a policy that has been postponed by the government, perhaps is the cause of shortages of this product at these fueling stations. This has rendered so many commuters stranded, as so many people are unable to get to their places of work and businesses just in time. The independent petroleum marketers noted that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company is working to ensure disruption to the supply chain is addressed as soon as possible. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority (NMDPRA) has confirmed petrol with methanol quantities above Nigeria's specification in the supply chain. NMDPRA stated this in a statement issued on Tuesday, confirming concerns by Nigerians and other stakeholders over the importation of crude above Nigeria's grade to the market. According to the statement, methanol is a regular additive in petrol and is usually blended in an acceptable quantity, noting that the limited quantity of the impacted product had been isolated and withdrawn from the market, including the loaded trucks in transit to ensure vehicular and equipment safety. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has intensified efforts at increasing the supply of petrol into the market to bridge any unforeseen supply gaps. While Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on Tuesday visits family of late Hanifa Abubakar in Kano to condole the family over the incident. Teacher of little Hanifa, Abdul Malik Tanko, and two others are facing trial over kidnap and subsequent killing of the 5-year-old girl. Professor Osinbajo prays for the family to be strong at their trying moment. Osinbajo is in Kano to attend the 53rd Annual Nigerian Association of Law Teachers Conference. A Chief Magistrate's Court in Gusau on Tuesday adjourned the case against Abdul Shakur Tukur and 4 others allegedly found in possession of human parts to March 15th for further mention. Chief Magistrate Saad Garba adjourned the case to allow the Department of Public Prosecution, DPP, assign it to a court of competent jurisdiction for trial. According to him, the magistrate has no jurisdiction over the case, but only to look at the cognizance of case and order for the remand of suspects. Garba therefore ordered the continued remand of the 3 defendants, while the 2 underage suspects be kept in a juvenile facility until the adjourned date. Moving on, suspected herdsmen reportedly invaded parts of Agatu local government area of Benue State, destroying farmlands and displacing thousands of persons. The State Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Michael Inalegu, stated this on Tuesday when the new Ochi Idoma, John Elegu, led other traditional rulers and stakeholders from Agatu on a thank-you visit to Governor Samuel Otom in Makurdi. According to the commissioner, the herders invaded Agatu with their cattle in their numbers, chasing the locals from their homes. Speaking, the Ochi Idoma urged all Idoma sons and daughters to put their differences behind and work for the development of Idoma land. You're still watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. Physics student invents generator. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Coronavirus disease, COVID-19, is an infectious disease caused by SARS-CoV-2 virus. Most people who fall sick with COVID-19 will experience mild to moderate symptoms and recover without special treatment. However, some will become seriously ill and require medical attention. The virus can spread from an infected person's mouth or nose in small liquid particles when they cough, sneeze, speak, sing, or breathe. These particles range from larger respiratory droplets to smaller aerosols. You can be infected by breathing in the virus if you're near someone who has COVID-19 or by touching a contaminated surface and then touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. The virus spreads more easily indoors and in crowded settings. Maintain a safe distance from others at least 2 meters even if they don't appear to be sick. Wear a mask in public, especially indoors or when physical distancing is not possible. Clean your hands often. Use soap and water or an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth with your bent elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze.
Stay home if you feel unwell. Get vaccinated. Properly fitted masks can help prevent the spread of the virus from the person wearing the mask to others. Masks alone do not protect against COVID-19 and should be combined with physical distancing and hand hygiene. Protect yourself and others around you by knowing the facts and taking appropriate precautions. Follow advice provided by your local health authority. This message is brought to you by Trust TV.
And you're welcome back. You're still watching Trust News Update. Now a quick reminder of some of our top stories. You heard that vehicle owners in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, are bemoaning shortage of fuel as long queues resurfaced in parts of the city, causing commercial motorists to hike fare. And suspected herdsmen reportedly invaded parts of Agatu local government area of Benue State, destroying farmlands and displacing thousands of persons. And now to more news. Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has reported 58 COVID infections in 6 states and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, on Tuesday. The agency, in its update for February 8, said 66 persons were discharged after recovering from the infection. Meanwhile, there were no fatalities. According to the agency, Nigeria now has a total of 253,838 confirmed cases, 230,211 recoveries, and 3,139 deaths. In another development, the World Health Organization, WHO, says 500,000 COVID-19 deaths recorded since the Omicron variant is beyond tragic. WHO Incident Manager Abdi Mahamud said 130 million cases and 500,000 deaths have been recorded globally since the declaration of Omicron as a variant of concern in late November. A 25-year-old Nigerian is inventing solar-powered generator capable of providing 350 watts of electricity. Solar energy is radiant light and heat from the sun that is harnessed using a range of technologies such as solar power to generate electricity. Ibrahim Ismail meets the young man in Gombe State and now reports.
This is a 25-year-old Muhammad Adam Faguji, a final year student of ATBU Bauchi, who studies applied physics. The Gombe-based physics student has assembled a solar power generator which uses sun radiation to provide energy. This mini power generator generates 350 watts of electricity which can be used to power bulbs, charge phones, and even television.
I install solar in houses, in schools, in offices, and purposely to bring a solution to the electricity problem that we're having. And my target customers are people in rural areas, people in remote areas who are disconnected with the electricity, who are having no electricity. And in fact, that's what inspires me to construct this solar generator. This is like a generator. The generator that we have, the difference is that there is no noise here and you don't have to buy fuels. So in fact, it will help you in, like converting the incessant buying of fuel, like petrol, to your generator. So this one, all you need to do is just to take it to the sunlight, expose it to the sunlight. Once it is exposed to the sun radiation, then it will be charging your battery. So that's how it works.
The little solar generator is his final year project at the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, and he has a strong passion to further develop his ideas.
Like this one, the idea of constructing this small generator pinned into my mind when I look at how people in remote areas find it complicated and difficult in like having electricity, and due to the cost and due to the geographical area where they are located. So that's why I constructed this one. Maybe people in remote areas, people in rural areas will be using it.
This young Nigerian has gone extra mile by helping his mother with the invention, as she uses the little solar generator to charge phones and watch TV. She is saying they watch TV when there is no light. The energy lasts for about 3 hours and they charge phones. Muhammad Faguji said it cost him 27,000 naira only to build this panel and therefore he needs support for mass production.
I constructed this one. Maybe people in remote areas, people in rural areas will be using it, you know. So to bring solution to people in rural areas, we need support from government. Like this one, if we are to construct it in large scales, it will help those people who are disconnected with the electricity in rural areas have access to the solar electricity.
Solar energy is the most cleanest process of generating electricity that is recommended to address the problem of climate change and save cost. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail for Trust TV.
Away from there now, over 50 civil society organizations in Kano State have adopted the Nigerian Agenda initiative as a critical way of producing leaders that will meet the nation's political and developmental challenges. At the official launching of the project at Mobile House, conveners of the program argued that the time for Nigerians to set agenda for those aspiring to take up leadership position is now. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin reports.
It is not by coincidence.
Gathered in this historic residence of Malam Aminu Kano, a one-time strong advocate of Nigerian agenda on the context of national unity, are leaders and representatives of various community-based and civil society organizations in Kano. Their aim is to emphasize the need for all citizens at the grassroots level to adopt the Nigerian agenda.
Kano Talakawas had made commitments to not only the contest for democratic power, but by concrete class action, insist on making the people the center of both government and governance, working through the covenants inherent in the Sawaba Declaration Principles of 1951. This inaugural advocacy of the Nigeria agenda is held here in the city of Kano in deference to the precocious act of political self-enablement and activation consummated about 71 years ago under Malam Aminu Kano.
According to the conveners of this gathering, the Nigerian Agenda Initiative seeks to create awareness of reawakening the people on the best way to choose their leaders away from ethnicity or religious beliefs, but based on national unity and development.
We have people who are aspirational, we have resilient people, but we are not doing well as a country. Our country is poor. You know, we associate with the worst countries in the world when it comes to Human Development Index about the quality of life. In terms of life expectancy, the life expectancy of Nigeria is about 53.4%. You know what that means? The average life expectancy in the world is about 74. That means if you are born and live in Nigeria, 20 years of your life, you are likely not to live as long as somebody who lives overseas.
As the 2023 general election is fast approaching, the Nigerian agenda expects this youth to choose for themselves leaders that can solve the nation's problems, regardless of their religion or tribal differences.
We are rooting for a candidate called Nigeria. Nigeria is a country with very great potentials, and Nigeria is a country with very great endowment, with the country with very great blessings. And I think what is missing in Nigeria is effective leadership that will harness all of these potentials and promote a country that we should all be very proud of.
While the Nigerian agenda is launched in Kano, Kano Emirate urged the initiators to ensure consistency in implementing their objectives across all parts of the country. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Still staying with politics, consultations on who will fly the People's Democratic Party presidential ticket in the 2023 elections have begun in earnest. While Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike meets critical stakeholders in Kaduna, His Sokoto State counterpart visits Zamfara in furtherance of his consultation on presidential ambition. The report. The opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, lost power at the center to the then opposition party, APC, in 2015. And since then, the party has strategized on how to reclaim power. The visit to Kaduna by Governor Nyesom Wike is in furtherance of these objectives. Wike meets PDP chieftain Ahmed Mohamed Makarfi, a former governor and senator and one-time caretaker chairman of the party. Wike said the party will meet at the appropriate time and take a decision on zoning.
The party will meet at the appropriate time and take a decision. It's not a one-man decision. Whether it's only to west, east, north, and east, what is important is who will have the capacity to challenge this party and move Nigeria forward. Because Nigeria is bleeding. Nigeria is waiting for us. And we must bring somebody who has what it takes to move Nigeria from where we are to what every Nigerian expects.
In Zamfara, Governor Aminu Tambuwal meets the State Deputy Governor Mahdi Aliyu in Gusau and other PDP stakeholders in the state. Tambuwal said the party stands a better chance of reclaiming power from the ruling party.
High level of insecurity is there, it's still unabated. The level of poverty is still very high. Healthcare services are almost in most parts of the country. The economy is bad. Virtually everything from 2015 is like a demand here in Nigeria. And we believe that by the grace of God, with their support and support of Nigerians, PDP can produce the next president of Nigeria socially. The people we see there with us today are all genuine PDP, genuine in the heart, and because the people that left His Excellency are all political members. I have used my office, my leadership, and the advice of my fellow members to choose carefully the new leaders and new delegates of PDP. We see that today, inshallah, if they promise to
Former Sokoto State Governor Atahiru Bafarawa told the PDP stakeholders in Zamfara State that they came to solicit for their prayers and support for Aminu Tambuwal, who wants to throw his hat for the 2023 presidential elections.
Therefore, we decided we are supposed to be here anywhere, but due to the request of our senior brother, who represented the Jigawa, that's why we went to Jigawa first before coming to Zamfara. After Jigawa, we were not anywhere, and we go to Zamfara to make sure that yes, all the president's program, let's get your support, let's get your consent, let's present you, and they give us approval to go ahead with our consultation. Now, what does this consultation? Just to consult you and look for ask for your prayers and your support.
The two governors are completing their second tenures in office and are consulting on their next political moves. The former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and the 14th Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, on Monday declared that Nigeria is living on extra time due to the myriads of challenges confronting the country. Sanusi predicted that Nigeria will face more difficult times in 2023 and called Nigerians to be ready to take tough decisions in the interest of the country. He also warned presidential aspirants to be prepared for the onerous task of the country. The former CBN governor and leader of the Khalifa of Tijaniya sect in Nigeria spoke in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, at a reception for him as part of the activities marking 80th birthday of Babanla Adini of Egbaland, Chief Tayo Somomi.
Because we know that this country deserves better than we have been giving ourselves. To be honest, this country we are living on extra time. In 2015, we were in a deep hole. In 2023, we will be in an even much deeper hole than in 2015. The challenges facing all those people who are struggling to be president, I hope they understand that the problems they are going to face are multiples of the problems that were faced in 2015. And all of us have to be ready for difficult decisions. And if they're not taken, we're all going to pay for it. But the solution is not for all of us to jump into politics. This country needs good politicians. It needs imams and pastors and bishops who are going to stand up and remind them of the fear of God. It needs technocrats who are going to critique their policies. It needs traditional rulers who are going to speak as the conscience of the people. Everyone has a role to play.
Well, a civil society organization, Center for Transparency Advocacy, says it will deploy observers to some of the 593 polling units without registered voters to monitor FCT Council's elections on Saturday. This is against the backdrop of the decision of the Independent National Electoral Commission not to deploy election materials and ad hoc staff to 593 polling units of the Federal Capital Territory for not having registered voters. While commending INEC for its decision, the Executive Director, Center for Transparency Advocacy, Faith Mwadishi, at the roundtable with stakeholders said publicizing the affected polling units will aid the tracking of election results in the coming election.
We have 593 of such polling units where materials will not be deployed. It's one area that we're also going to monitor or to observe. I personally took it upon myself to look at the address. They produced a booklet and gave the addresses of those polling units where materials will not be deployed. This also shows that increasingly we are seeing progress and some kind of reforms within our electoral process. In the past, these 593 polling units will give you results and people will be declared winner. In the past, they will not let citizens know that there are polling units where you don't have voters. But when results come out, those polling units will declare 100 over 100, even though election did not hold there. So that's one way we are commenting INEC and the leadership of INEC to say this has started and we have to continue this way. People have asked, why is it that we have these 593 polling units? Why is it that you don't have voters here? Is it that people did not come out? Recall that INEC just concluded the exercise on the expansion of polling units because they complained about congestion of polling units. Now, it's the prerogative rests now on citizens to move from their existing polling units to these new polling units. INEC cannot transfer.
Let's turn our attention to some stories on the foreign scene now. At least 14 people have been killed and 35 injured after a landslide buried several homes in central Colombia. The early morning landslide in Dos Quebradas followed torrential rains in the surrounding coffee-growing province of Risaralda. Rescue teams are searching the mud for survivors. Government Secretary in Risaralda, Alvaro Arias, said dozens of nearby homes are being evacuated amid fears of some landslides as the Orton River overflowed. Landslides are common in Colombia due to the mountainous terrain, frequent heavy rains, and poor or informal house construction. And with that, we wrap up Trust News Update at this hour. Do remember to follow us across all social media platforms and YouTube for more updates, news, and programs. My name is Chijoke Okafo. Many thanks for your time and company, and goodbye for now.